When I teach ring entrances, the most challenging concept for me to convey is that the goal is not to get the dog through the ring entrance and into the ring without looking away. So in other words, we're not trying to say to the dog, pay attention to me. You must pay attention to me as we are moving through this area of pressure. Instead, we're going to play a game. And the game is going to be that the closer we get to the pressure, the more likely it is that something great is going to happen. In essence, what's happening is as the dog approaches pressure, pressure becomes a positive cue instead of a negative cue. What we're going to do with this game is release the dog way, way, way early. So before the dog even realizes that this is a ring entrance, so you see he's all the way over there, okay? There's going to be no reason for him to even look over here. I'm going to mark. I'm going to move backwards, which is releasing him off the pressure. Now, granted, he's not feeling any pressure here yet, but bear with me. So I'm going to mark, tell him what he did was correct, release him off the pressure, because releasing a dog from the pressure is highly reinforcing. Then I will give the dog food or a toy, whichever you prefer. In this example, I'm using my retired senior dog because he really wanted a turn. So I'm using food just so that I can do a whole lot of reps. But you can use either. It's perfectly fine.
Yes.
So again, I'm far away. I'm looking at his eyes. He didn't even register anything was here. Perfect. I say yes. I back up. I'm going to spit him a cookie. I can do multiple reps of this, 2, 3, 4 reps, before taking another step or two closer. Just for sake of this video, I'm going to move forward this time.
Yes.
Okay, so again, I'm marking and releasing very early. I'm not waiting until he drops his eyes or until he's pinning his ears back saying, oh goodness, I feel pressure. I'm doing it way before, way early. It seems kind of silly, right? Like I'm marking and releasing and nothing's really even happening. But what I'm establishing here is a game, okay? And the dog's getting excited because he's like, any minute I'm going to get that mark and I'm going to get that release.
Yes.
So you can see that I'm not asking him to hop. The closer I get to the barriers, even though at this point I could just barely out of the corner of my eye see the edges of the chairs, which says to me that he probably can too. But he got super excited. He started bouncing. He offered that. I did not ask for that.
Yes.
So there, I just did another early one just because. Because again, this is not about pushing the dog through. And you could stay at this step for multiple training sessions until you see the dog starting to say, hey, any minute now, come on, any minute you're going to release me. And then you can incrementally move closer and closer.
Yes.
Okay, so I got a little closer that time. He was fine with it. He's done this before, and I can read in him that it's not a problem. The goal here is not to get all the way in on the first session or the second necessarily, right? The goal is to create this kind of excitement. He's getting more and more excited.
Yes. Good.
And now I'm gonna, I'm pretty sure, we'll see.
Yes. Yes, good boy.
So I got a little bit closer that time. He was perfectly fine. Again, if I didn't think he was ready to go that close, I wouldn't. There's no rush here. So I just did some fun tricks just to change the channel a little bit.
In the ring. Yes.
Again, I'm in no rush to push him through. And this is obviously the most simple scenario, which is just 2 barriers. I make sure my dog's really fluent getting through those before I add any additional challenges.
Zesty.
Whoopsie, called him the wrong name.
Yes.
Right, so you can see he doesn't, I mean, he's literally not even eye flicking. Yes, he's a fully trained dog, but I literally have not done this with him in like 2 years. But he just has such a strong positive association with it, and I'm just building up his excitement. So there you see, I am not, it's not like, oh, I have some success, let me push further. No, I want success and even more success before I think about quote unquote pushing. I'm really not pushing at all. So now here I'm pretending that my dog is looking away. He's not going to look away. So I'm pretending, okay? I'm being mean. I'm pushing his head away, all right? So pretend at any point in time your dog dropped their head and looked, or maybe didn't even drop their head, just eye flicked, or even twitched their ear like, oh, I'm not sure about this, all right? What do I do in that case? I do the exact same thing I've been doing all along. I repeat, I do not tell the dog it's wrong. It's actually my error, because my job is to release the dog before he's bothered by the pressure. So if my dog was bothered, I didn't release them soon enough. My bad. I just say yes, back up, feed, just as if he did it perfectly right. Now, many people are going to ask, well, aren't you reinforcing the incorrect behavior? Trust me, it will work. On the next rep, he's going to pay even more attention. So he looked away, I marked and released just like I did before. Now, on this rep, it is my responsibility to ensure, to guarantee that he's going to be successful, which means what? Releasing him early.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go to the same spot again where he failed. I'm going to release him early, and I'm going to do a bunch of those earlier ones before I attempt to move closer to that pressure point again. Whoopsie. Getting his cookies all over my shirt. So now you see he's progressed. Again, this could take days, weeks, and I can get him in between now, in between the ring gates, and eventually through my pathetic ring gates here. Again, I'm just throwing some tricks in there just to change the channel a little bit.
Bounce. Bounce.
So another option, instead of doing this pressure off game, which I just showed you in detail, is I ask my dogs to bounce. They love to bounce. Bounce is inherently self-reinforcing. I ask them to bounce into and through the gates. My dogs love doing this. Zesty loves it. He's a very young green dog. This is helping him tremendously have great ring entrances because the excitement is helping him push through the barrier. Now again, though, I'm not using this as a tool to force the dog, right? To kind of shove the dog through the pressure. I'm just adding it as a tool. So he's going to bounce, but I'm still going to do the releasing game before he looks away. Same concept, I'm just adding the bounce. With the bounce, a lot of times I get through this process more quickly. Not that it matters. This is not a rush, right? We're building a positive relationship with pressure and ring entrances. So he's bouncing, but I'm still saying yes, releasing off the pressure and feeding before he's wrong, before he gets bothered. I shouldn't even say wrong, before he feels the effects of the pressure.
Bounce, yes.
So there I'm just asking him to bounce, which there he's offering it. My dogs just love it.
Bounce, bounce, yes.
But I'm still releasing him off. Off the pressure and then feeding, and I still want him to be correct. If he were to have a problem, drop his head, flick his eyes, I would not acknowledge it as a problem. I would just say yes, back up, release feed, reset, make sure I mark release feed earlier on the following repetition.
Bounce, 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 yes.
Now you can see that as we do more reps, his bounces are getting more and more animated. They're getting higher and higher, and he's having absolutely no problem going through the ring gates here. That's the effect I'm trying to achieve, and that comes from building a high success rate and not worrying about pushing the dog through the entrance. Ooh, he offered that. I was like, dude, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Zio is a incredibly soft, worried dog. I'm teaching him I actually did the whole sequence at the beginning of this video. Then I added the bounce. It helped him tremendously. Instead of going into the ring and immediately being worried and concerned, he went into the ring super happy
In the ring.
and energetic and in a very positive state of mind. There you can see he's having a blast. Good job, buddy. All right. Again, the important piece here is changing your idea, changing the concept of what we're trying to achieve, right? The goal here is not, I want to see if I can get my dog through the entrance successfully. The goal is I want to change my dog's relationship to pressure. I want to build a high success ratio. I want my dog to think this is a super fun game. Therefore, when I approach ring entrances, I want my dog to have a positive conditioned emotional response to the pressure, because ring entrances have an enormous amount of pressure. Now, I practice this with something like 2 chairs or just ring gates. Then I add more and more distractions. Eventually, I'll add a judge. I practice these all the time, literally every time I train, and every time I go to a show and go or a run through, or I have a training partner that can work with me, I do these ring entrances just this way. As a matter of fact, I was just at a show and go the other day, and even with Zaina, my 8-year-old, very, very, very experienced dog, I did several ring entrances before I went into the ring and did my run through. So it's important to practice them frequently to maintain them so the dog loves them. And then when you use them in the ring, you're going to set yourself up for success.